Hey, how's it going? My name's Chris Young, and I'm the Strategic Learning Coordinator for Southern Hancock Schools in New Palestine, Indiana. And today, we're going to talk about the expectations for this thing we call continuous learning. So, I'd like to start with a question. If you were told at the beginning of the school year that you could teach without the pressure of state assessments, would your classroom have looked any different? In a given classroom, there are only 3 types of interaction. There's students interacting with content, student to student where they're interacting with each other, and student to teacher where the teacher and the student are interacting back and forth. And that's it. Too often with online learning, we actually start and even sometimes end with student to content interaction. And all 3 types of interaction are equally important. So when we're designing lessons, we want to think about all 3 types of interaction and how that they can work together to create the most engaging and authentic learning experiences for students. Students are interacting with one another and with their teachers in Flipgrid. Teachers are using Screencastify and Loom to make screencasts. And we're having live classrooms with tools like Zoom or Google Meet. It's honestly really incredible through the use of video that teachers have been able to basically make the classroom come to life for students. But despite all of this hard work, communities and students and even our teachers are still overwhelmed with this continuous learning. So you can minimize this overwhelming feeling by just looking at the IDOE guidelines for what the average e-learning lesson should be. They've got it broken down by grade level, the length of the lesson. Also, if you're an elementary teacher and you're trying to do multiple preps, stem it up. In other words, integrate your subjects. Find an activity where you can incorporate your science, your social studies, your math, and your language arts all in one. And you don't need a new lesson every single day. Find a lesson that can span multiple days. Allow students the opportunity to discover and create. Not everything has to be online. Give them offline activities. For example, have them recreate an event with things from their house and have them snap a picture and write about why they chose what they chose. I recently did this with the Getty Challenge where I tried to recreate a painting. Simply, just have students find learning in everyday life. It could be as simple as the math and food labels, or writing about a board game that they played with their family. So still find the time to make personal connections with students. Celebrate birthdays. I've seen all the posts of teachers being heartbroken that we're not going back to school this year. Let students know that. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch Brian Dinwiddie's video where he talked about grace over grades, I highly recommend it. But I want to add one other thing to that. Students over content. Now more than ever, it's important to teach your students first and then your content second. You've had all of this school year to get to know your students, and so you, more than anybody, know exactly what they need at this time. If students can come out of all of this with a greater and a deeper love of learning, they will be so much better off than having learned a couple extra standards. At the beginning of this video, I asked a question. I said, if you knew at the beginning of the year there was no standardized tests for you to be measured upon, would you teach differently? That was kind of a trick question because at this point, you have no choice. We're all teaching differently. So it's important that you find your people and you collaborate and you take care of yourself, but also know we're in this together. You can find me on Twitter @ChrisYoungEDU, and I'd be happy to connect and help and share ideas and do anything I can to support you in this time. Thank you so much for what you're doing for students. As a parent, it means so much. As an educator, I couldn't be more proud. Thank you.